Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Brian, and today we will be discussing revenue recognition for subscription services and licensing agreements under ASPE 3400. We will cover the key criteria for revenue recognition, risk and rewards transferred, collectibility, measurability, and performance. Let's get started. To begin, let's take a brief look at ASPE 3400. ASPE 3400 provides guidelines for revenue recognition in financial reporting. Accurate revenue recognition is crucial as it impacts financial statements and is of great interest to stakeholders. Understanding these guidelines helps ensure transparency and reliability in financial reporting. Like always, we consider revenue criteria. First, risk and rewards transferred. Significant risk and rewards of ownership have been transferred to the buyer. Second is collectibility. It is probable that the economic benefits will flow to the enterprise. Third, measurability. The amount of revenue can be reliably measured, including any potential return. And lastly, performance. The enterprise has performed its obligations with delivery occurring or services rendered. The seller's price to the buyer is fixed or determinable. Let's talk about subscription services. Subscription services are arrangements where customers pay a recurring fee to access a product or service. Common examples include software subscriptions and streaming services. Recognizing revenue for subscription services can be challenging due to the timing of revenue recognition and handling cancellation or refunds. For subscription services, revenue is typically recognized over the period in which the services are provided, often using the percentage of completion method or on a straight line basis over the subscription term. We can now talk about licensing agreements. Specifically right-to-use licensing agreements. Licensing agreements grant customers the right to use intellectual property, such as software or patents, for a specified period or indefinitely. Common examples include software license and patents. Recognizing revenue for licensing agreements, right to use, can be challenging due to the timing of revenue recognition and handling potential returns or refunds. For licensing agreements, revenue is typically recognized when the customer gains control of the licensed product, which is often at the point of delivery or when the license term begins. It is important to ensure that the significant risk and rewards of ownership have been transferred to the customer before recognizing revenue. In comparison, licensing agreements, right to access, grant customers the right to access intellectual property such as cloud-based software or streaming services for a specified period. Common examples include cloud-based software and streaming services. Recognizing revenue for licensing agreements, right to access, can be challenging due to the timing of revenue recognition and handling potential service interruptions or refunds. For licensing agreements, revenue is typically recognized over the period in which access is provided, often on a straight-line basis over the access term. It is important to ensure that the significant risk and rewards of ownership are transferred to the customer each period before recognizing revenue. We can try example for subscription services. FitLife Inc. offers an annual subscription to its online fitness platform, which includes access to workout videos, live classes, and personalized fitness plans. The subscription fee is $120 per year, payable upfront. FitLife Inc. has a policy that allows customers to cancel within the first month for a full refund. After the first month, no refunds are provided. The company has a history of a 5% cancellation rate within the first month. FitLife Inc. recognizes revenue when the subscription is activated. So, to solve this problem, we must consider the four revenue criteria: risk and rewards transferred, The significant risk and rewards of ownership are transferred to the customer when they gain access to the online fitness platform. However, due to the refund policy, FitLife Inc. must consider the likelihood of cancellations within the first month. Revenue should be recognized after the first month when the risk of cancellation is minimal. Second is collectibility. FitLife Inc. must assess the probability that the economic benefits will flow to the enterprise. Given the upfront payment and the company's history of a 5% cancellation rate, it is probable that the economic benefits will flow to FitLife Inc. after the first month. For measurability, the amount of revenue can be reliably measured at $120 per subscription, considering the 5% cancellation rate. FitLife Inc. should account for potential refunds within the first month and recognize the remaining revenue after the cancellation period ends. Lastly, performance. FitLife Inc. has performed its obligations by providing access to the online fitness platform. Once the customer gains access and the first month passes without cancellation, the performance obligation is satisfied and the seller's price to the buyer is fixed and determinable. So for recommendation, FitLife Inc. should recognize revenue after the first month of subscription period to account for the 5% cancellation rate. This approach ensures that the significant risk and rewards of ownership have been transferred and the economic benefits are probable. Let's now look at right-to-use licensing agreements. Example, TechSoft Ltd. licenses its accounting software to business for a one-time fee of $1,000. The licensing grants the right to use the software indefinitely. TechSoft Ltd. provides the software via download and offers technical support for the first year. The company recognizes revenue when the software is delivered and functional. Okay, so let's now use full revenue criteria, risk and rewards transferred. The significant risk and rewards of ownership are transferred to the customer when they receive the software and can start using it. TechSoft Ltd. must ensure that the software is delivered and functional before recognizing revenue. Collectibility. TechSoft Ltd. must assess the creditworthiness of the business purchasing the license. If the business has a strong credit history and a good reputation, it is probable that the economic benefits will flow to TechSoft Ltd. So for measurability, the amount of revenue can be reliably measured at $1,000 per license. TechSoft Ltd. should consider any potential discounts or returns when measuring revenue. So this is met. For performance, TechSoft Ltd. has performed its obligations by delivering the software and providing technical support for the first year. Once the software is delivered and functional, the performance obligation is satisfied and the seller's price to the buyer is fixed and determinable. For recommendation, TechSoft Ltd. should recognize revenue once the software is delivered and fully functional, ensuring that the significant risk and rewards of ownership have been transferred. Implementing a thorough credit assessment process to evaluate the creditworthiness business purchasing the license will help mitigate the risk of non-payment. Let's now practice licensing agreement, right to access. CloudManage Inc. licenses its cloud-based project management software for a monthly fee of $50. The license grants access to the software and includes ongoing updates and support. Customers can cancel the subscription at any time. CloudManage Inc. recognizes revenue on a monthly basis when access to the software is provided. So let's consider the 4 revenue criteria. Risk and rewards transferred. So significant risk and rewards of ownership are transferred to the customer when they gain access to the software each month. CloudManage Inc. must assess the transfer of risk and rewards on a monthly basis, considering any potential service interruptions. Collectibility is CloudManage Inc. must assess the probability of customers continuing to pay their monthly fees. This involves evaluating the customer's payment history and any potential economic factors that could impact their ability to pay. So for measurability, the amount of revenue can be reliably measured at $50 per month. Cloud Manage Inc. should account for potential service interruptions or refunds when measuring revenue. For performance, Cloud Manage Inc. has performed its obligations by providing access to the software and ongoing updates and support. Revenue can be recognized on a monthly basis once the company has provided the promised services and the seller's price to the buyer is fixed and determinable. For recommendation, Cloud Manage Inc. should continue to recognize revenue on a monthly basis when access to the software is provided, ensuring that the significant risk and rewards of ownership are transferred each month. Regularly assessing the probability of customer continuing to pay their monthly fees by evaluating payment histories and potential economic factors will help improve collectibility. So, our summary of subscription and licensing agreements. In summary, we have discussed the key aspects of revenue recognition for subscription services and licensing agreements under ASPE 3400. Subscription services involve recurring fees for access to a product or service, with revenue typically recognized over the subscription term. Licensing agreements, specifically right to use, grant customers the right to use intellectual property when the revenue recognized when the customer gains control of the licensed product. In comparison, licensing agreements right to access grant customers the right to access intellectual property with revenue recognized over a period which access is provided. Each type of arrangement presents unique challenges in terms of timing, handling cancellations, returns, and refunds, but understanding these principles must ensure accurate and reliable revenue recognition. Thank you very much. Goodbye.